This bird flu thing's going around. I mean, like, I don't see it gaining traction. How could the perfect right before the election? How can you buy it? Unless it really does start to like actually just completely kill a ton of people, and then it's like, see, this was the real one. We warned you. You thought it was a scam. No, people are really dying now.
We injected a bird, and this time it worked. This time
it's way more effective.
It's actually killing everybody.
It's way more.
So hide in your homes. A few weeks ago we talked about how the foreign governments were going to take over. What was it? The electric grid or the water? It was one of the water. It was the water. They were going to stop our water.
Yeah.
And we were like, is this the next crisis?
Turns out it wasn't. It may be.
No, but bird flu. I mean, they're always dropping these little bird droppings all over the place. Like, yeah, they're just dropping these little like, oh, maybe it'll be this thing, and then in like 6 months, when it happens, like we told you, we laid the groundwork. So now the next laying of the groundwork is bird flu.
They're trying to figure out which option they're gonna take.
At least get some new material, guys. Okay. This is from Axios. Look at counties where avian flu has been detected.
Okay, well, it hasn't hit Tennessee yet.
We're okay for now. This gives me flashbacks to like, here are the hotspots for COVID. You remember this?
Yeah, but like you can't do it again.
Could avian influenza be the next COVID-19? Forbes just came right out and said it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
At least they're honest.
Yeah, so, this is a highly pathogenic avian influenza.
But this is confusing, though, because at the same time, the New York Times is just coming out and then talking about the vaccine stuff and how, did you see that?
Right. Yeah, something about that. I don't remember what it said.
But it was more on the right where it's like, are people getting injured?
People were getting hurt from it? Yeah.
That was the question they were raising.
We're going to get a little thing on the bottom of this episode.
Well, then I'll bleep the word. But then at the same time, now they're pushing a new one.
Well, yeah, because when one is done, then you finally say, all right, yeah, that stuff we were telling you were crazy for thinking that is actually true. But no, don't worry, we got a new one now.
That's hard to imagine.
Look at the first photo of Texas farm worker who caught bird flu, bleeding in his eyeballs. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Hope that farmer will be okay. Good grief. I remember every year or 2 or 3, they would say, oh, it's here's the new virus, the swine flu. It was always something or other, but they never gained traction. Mm-hmm. So, could this be just it gets them the clicks to hype it up, and now everything is going to be, could this be the next COVID-19?
They got it. I'm waiting. The election's coming around. I'm waiting. Is it the protests? What is it? I can't figure out. I feel like it's everywhere.
It's always it's always that pre-election fever in the air. It's like a pre-Christmas. It's like, oh, there's just something in the air.
Yeah.
It's a bird flu in the air. It's chaos in the streets. It's all very exciting. But we are into May, and so whatever the narrative is going to be, they really need to focus and nail it down, because we've only, what is it now? This is the 5th month of the year, so we got 6. Okay, we got 6 more months. When they find the thing, it'll be. In a week, it'll be like, I don't remember a time before this was the news.
Yeah.
You're living in this framework where it's like, I don't even know how good I have it right now, because at some point, some week down the line, it's just going to be this thing all the time. And the question is really going to be, will people go for it this time? I really think that people are very detached, because that's how I feel at this point.
Yeah, we were talking about, it's like you're on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
I don't feel involved in any of it. In fact, I see stuff going on in the news. I was just talking to you about some of it. I was like, I don't feel like I have a dog in this fight at all. I'm just hearing opinions about it, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Oh, well, that made sense. Anyways, back to life.
It doesn't affect you.
I don't
every day.
Yeah. But even the things that do affect me to some degree, I just feel detached from all of it. At some point, I feel like they're all just everyone is so gross and bad and corrupt. It's like, why give them the decency, the courtesy of even giving them a piece of my brain even for a minute to be concerned or be worried about it. It's like, look, you're going to do what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Little me, I can't do anything about it. Just got to trust it's all going to be good. And you guys are just, if I'm right and you guys are all as disgusting and corrupt as it seems like you are, then your time to reign will soon be at an end.
Yeah.
As Maximus says.
Yeah.
The time for exalting yourself will soon be at an end. One of the best lines in cinematic history. Anyways.
Yeah. Even the people that you look at and you're like, can I trust this person or not? Tucker Carlson, great example. Apparently he wanted to be in the CIA at some point. Okay, it's a little weird.
Yeah.
Who
so
really
it's a weird
wants
thing to want to be in.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to try a field.
Yeah. It's like if somebody says that they want to be a politician. It's like, oh, so I can't trust you really.
Yeah, hopefully you're a good one, but like there's something
Just
about it.
Based on what I know of the ones who made it, maybe you won't make it and you're fine.
But I was just listening to a little interview that he was doing, and he was interviewing the guy who wrote "I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell." It's a guy who was basically a frat bro.
Oh, okay.
And he did all sorts of terrible things.
Okay.
And everybody thought it was hilarious because he actually wrote emails before there was Facebook or anything. He was writing emails to his friends about these funny stories of him that would happen. He's sleeping with all these people and doing all this horrible, awful stuff and partying constantly. And so he went to publishers because his friends were like, dude, you need to write a book. Actually, a very particular person, he was saying, said, you need to put these into a book and you are a writer.
Okay.
That's what your gift is. And he was like, what are you talking about? Okay. So he curated all these emails and he sent it to publishers and they were like, dude, this is the stupidest, worst thing I've ever read. And so they all said, no. And so then later on, it was like, well, forget this. I'm going to do it myself. So then he makes blogs and then they blow up like crazy. And then the publishers start running to him. Anyways, that initial person who was reading all this horrible, nasty, terrible stuff in these emails who said, you're gifted, you need to be a writer, was one of Tucker Carlson's friends, great friends. And this dude was like, you know this guy? And Tucker was before he knew what he was going to say, he was like, oh yeah. He was like, he's the one who told me that I should write this book. It was like, how do you know these people? Who are your friends?
Yeah.
Were you like this?
Yeah.
It's I think everybody was like that who went to these universities.
I see
and then it's
saying.
well, we all just don't talk about it.
Right.
That was our past life, but it was awesome.
Right.
That was our past life. Now we have kids now. Now we're going to tell you to stop having sex and all this stuff because that's what's popular now.
But it was just a college thing,
It was
everybody does the college thing.
Right. It was totally normal to do that. But now we're all Christians and we have kids now. And now obviously you shouldn't do this stuff. Obviously.
Anybody who tells me they were in a frat or a sorority in college, okay. Yeah. Unless you had some real come to Jesus moment, you are just your brain space is in a world that mine does not exist in.